Hello everyone, welcome. Looks like this is going to be the week of all things massive in Starfield. We're 2 for 2 now. We're gonna cap off the week with this mod here called Shmederation Starship Shmoyager. This is by author VSEV, although the actual model is made by a different user called CGI Tutorials, and author VSEV is the one who made the necessary changes so that we can have this in Starfield. So I want to show you guys around as well as give you a quick guide how to put it together, because essentially what you're getting is a shell, but you still have to build a working ship for this to go on top of. So here's a quick look of the ship in space. It may not look like very huge or massive right now because we're in space, but wait until I put this next to something small. I do like the details, the accent, the gold accent going around. It looks very nice. This is, and I'm gonna show you guys later, but this is the cockpit version. So there are two versions. There's a structured one and there's a cockpit one. So when we do the guide, I'll tell you and I'll show you the differences. And here's a view on the large landing pad. It looks pretty massive, pretty much takes half of the outpost, and it has a lot of girth there at the tip. Imagine if this is you and this is her friend from work, and she's always like, don't worry about it, I like small and cute. But he's always like, hey, you wanna hang out after work in my big rocket ship? Another detail I wanted to bring to your attention are those wings. You can see that right now is flat, but when you're actually in space, this part of the wing actually lifts like 45 degrees type of thing. So it's pretty nice, good attention to detail, really like it. And I also kind of made a mistake. I think this hub is a little bit too low. I should have moved it a little bit higher so that it doesn't protrude outside of this. And I want to take you guys to the interior right now. Not for an interior tour because I've done those before and you guys probably seen all the hubs that I've used, but I want to take you guys to see the cockpit because it's slightly modified, where the front, the glass is now completely clean, no frames or all that stuff, which I think looks great. I really like this. Of course, later on I will show you you can use the structure version instead of this one and put any other cockpit that you prefer. And I think probably the large Matilija bridge, that would be a really good candidate. As far as I can tell, I think it's the only change in here. The rest I believe is all the same, unless you guys notice something different. But so alright, let me go to the shipbuilder. Alright, so I wanna just remove some of the hubs that are not necessary, just so that it becomes easier for you guys to understand the basics, the minimum that you have to do for these to kind of basically work. So okay, well, hold on, let me delete this one. And okay, so there are two versions of the USS Voyager. This is the cockpit version. Then you also have another one. This is the structural version where you can have any cockpit that you want. And then the other items that you are going to find are the Voyager landing gears. So you also have two versions. One is the Delta, the other one is the Lambda. The Delta one goes with the cockpit version, and the Lambda one goes with the structural version. So I am here using the Delta version because I ended up using the cockpit version. And when you bring it up, what you're gonna see is this thing here. And what you have is this marking here at the top that tells you that the hub has to end here to connect to the cockpit and that the docker should be back here. So if we come here to this one that I did, so you can see that this is where it ends, so the connection has to be there. I noticed that if you end further it's okay, but if you end back it's not okay because these things will protrude outside of the model. So going further out, which is why I added this extra 1 by 1. And here I'm gonna try to put this side by side so you guys can see better where it goes. This what I have is here. It connects directly to the landing bay. So from there, this you don't need. What you need is basically this, another 1x1 that will allow you to access that landing bay, of course. And then you need something that will take you back. You can either use stairs or 1x1s if you prefer. I ended up using the Stroud elevator. I think the elevator is probably the better choice here, so it's faster. And all these at the back is just additional stuff that you need. So for example, I used the hub core from Old Tech instead. I put the landing gear here, which honestly I think they should go here so that it looks a little bit better when outside of the ship. You're gonna need the engines, the grav drive, of course you're gonna need that. This is just here because I wanted to find out how far I could go to the back, and you can go back pretty far before something starts kind of protruding out of the back of the ship. And yeah, so what you need is basically this here, and what I use here for the elevator, this is a 5-floor elevator. The last floor will lead 2x1 that leads to, let me remove this one so you can see, that leads to another elevator that goes up, and a 3x1 that leads into the cockpit. Now let me show you if you want to go the other route without using the cockpit version. You will have basically the same minus that part at the top that tells you where the cockpit should go. So you will be doing the same. You will be building roughly still using kind of this kind of method. This here seems to be like a good measurement, even if you want to use a different cockpit. Once you have this done, you can start basically fill up every floor with different hubs, you know, just kind of basically now decorate, do the interior however you like with whatever hubs you prefer. I noticed that if you put a pretty wide hub here on the very last floor here, it might show. So maybe just put a 1x1 in here instead. I put 2 fuel tanks here. I just wanted to see, you know, if I could attach things here at the front and be okay. And yeah, it's fine. You can use other fuel tanks. I use Varun Sev in this example. I would say that the one that uses the cockpit is easier to work with, and you can see how the Docker aligns with this kind of little square here when you bring that in. And by the way, another thing that you're probably gonna need is a mod that allows you to build large ships. The one that I'm using is the Ship Builder Configurator. There's an Xbox version as well. Now the other thing that you're also gonna need is something that can zoom out enough when you are in third-person view. I'm using this one. This is from Nexus. It's the flight camera, the larger FOV and more responsive ship camera. I couldn't find an equivalent of this in Creations. So I don't know, maybe I missed something, but if you guys know, let us know in the comments. Otherwise, without it and you're on console only, you might have to just stick to first person. That is pretty much it. I don't know if I'm missing anything or I'm forgetting anything. If I remember, you know, I put it in the comments, or if you guys have questions, you know, let me know. So yeah, there you have it. That is it for the video. I hope this was helpful. If you enjoyed it, please don't forget to like and subscribe. Otherwise, enjoy the game, have fun, and I'll see you all in the next video.